At least by appointing Shamir Shah, the BBC is now appointing somebody who's actually a BBC person, who's had a career in television, has served in the BBC as a non-executive director, has also had positions in current affairs. The challenges he faces are enormous. And they're going to start with renegotiating the license fee, which, Lucy Frazer has already said quite clearly that the license fee is too much, or putting the license fee up by £20 or £30 or whatever it is too much for people facing a cost of living crisis. And not increasing the license fee is going to put a huge strain on the BBC finances, which I think has banked on having this extra money. I think the license fee, which has been described as a regressive tax, needs to be re-examined because it's getting too high to start with. But I don't think it's simply a matter of it being too high. I think the BBC needs to be significantly more on brand to justify that license fee. It needs to make sure that the World Service is working, that local services are working, and that the content on the main television channel is not just a dominance of weather reports, a series of repeats in a lot of reality TV shows. There needs to be more substance, and getting rid of Newsnight. Well, by all means, get rid of Newsnight, but replace it by something which is as dynamic as Newsnight used to be. Similarly, the Andrew Marr programme, which used to be on the BBC on a Sunday morning, something of that nature needs to be revived because the nonsense which is replacing it at the moment doesn't have the weight that the Andrew Marr show used to have. So, at a time of international tension, when the BBC should be there to comment and to advise and to draw conclusions, what we need, actually, is less of this, dispassionate BBC, and more of a BBC that offers a range of opinion. So, the current interpretation of the BBC's role is to bland everything down. And probably what a good interpretation of that role would be to have a greater range and greater balance, therefore, rather than just simply giving airtime to people who actually are quite insignificant organizations, simply to balance. So the during the coronation, the fact that the Republic organization kept getting interviews because the BBC was doing what it's there for, which is to reflect the nation, is absurd. It's justified on the basis of balance. Balance would have been to reflect a range of ideas about the coronation, not necessary to keep talking about republicanism, because it's not as significant. It is significant, but not as significant. Similarly, the issues with Gaza, the BBC coverage has failed to provide a balanced account, and also fails to provide information with speed. It's so busy fact-checking. It's not getting the information out there fast enough. So people are getting the information from other sources, and the BBC should be not only reliable, but at the front of the news gathering system. There were other candidates for the chairman of the BBC, including Ilan Kloss Stevens, but yeah, it's It's Shamir Shah. Congratulations.